Okay, class, what we're going to do today is go over your Law of Cosines, Law of Sines study guide, and we're going to go over each question. So we'll start with number one. So number one wants us to find the length of BC. And so what we're looking for on these questions, do I have an angle with a side across from it? And if we have that, then we're going to do Law of Sines. So on this triangle, we have this angle and this side. So this tells me I'm going to use law of sines. And what law of sines tells me is sine of an angle, say sine of 38 over the side across from it, is going to be equal to sine of another angle over its opposite side. So since it wants us to find BC, let's put an X here. So sine 38 over 35 equals sine 28 over this side. Alright, so what we're doing is we'll set up a proportion, let's cross multiply and get x by itself, and then we'll have our answer. So we're going to cross multiply our proportion. So we have x times sine 38 equals 35 times sine 28. Alright, let's get x by itself, so we'll divide both sides by sine 38. They cancel here. So x, my side BC, is going to equal 35 times sine 28 divided by sine 38. And this will be an answer choice. Okay, number 2 gives us the triangle ABC, and it gives us angle A, angle B, and side BC, and it wants us to find side AB. Okay, so what I'm looking for, do I have an angle with a side across from it? Yes, we have this angle with that side across from it, so we're going to use law of sines to find side AB. Alright, so we'll say sine 50 over the side across from it, over 10, equals sine of this angle over that side. But I got to figure out this angle, and we have two of the angles. We have 110 and 50. That gives me 160, and so I know that this angle is 20 degrees because there's 120 or 180 in a triangle. So 180 minus the 160 gives me the 20 degrees. So we have the angle we need over this side. So sine 20 over x. Now let's cross multiply and get x by itself. So x times sine 50 equals 10 times sine 20. Divide by sine 50 to both sides to get x by itself. Cancel out, so x is 10 times sine 20 divided by sine 50. Okay, on number 3 they give us triangle ACB. They give us all the angles in the diagram. The question says AC equals 4, so let's put 4 here. And it wants to know what is the length of CB. Okay, so we're looking for an angle with the side across from it. We have this angle and that side, so we'll use law of sines. So sine 45 over 4 equals sine of this angle over this side, so sine 65 over, and this is side CB, and this will be an answer choice on this question. That's all we had to do. Okay, number 4, we have triangle ABC, and it wants us to find AC. Alright, so let's look. We have this angle and the side across from it, so that's where we'll start. Sine of the angle over the side equals sine of this angle over this side, so sine 48 over x. Alright, let's cross multiply it. Get x by itself, so x times sine 105 equals 200 times sine 48. And then to get x by itself, let's divide by the sine 105 to both sides. Cancel. Alright, so x equals this, and notice that they give you the values for sine 48 and sine 105, so I'm going to plug in the decimals that they give us for that. So that'll be 200 times sine 48 is 0.7431 divided by sine 105 is 0.9659. Alright, let's punch this in our calculator and see what we get. Okay, so in my calculator I'm going to do 200 times 0.7431 equals, and then that divided by 0.9659. And it wants the nearest whole number. Well, my calculator gives me 153.8668. Nearest whole number, so this is 5 or greater, so I'll round this up. So this is 154. Okay, number 5 is just asking us what method would we use to find this side. And so first we look, do we have an angle with a side across from it? We have this angle, we don't have that side, and that's the only angle they give us, so I'm not using law of sines. It also says, could you use Pythagorean theorem? Well, I don't really know if this is a right triangle. It tells me that's 45. I don't know if this is a 90 or not. This could be a special right triangle. If it is, if this is 4, then that's 4, then this would be 4 root 2, so it's not a special right triangle. And it's not a triple. This is not a triple. And so what we're going to use is law of cosines. If you don't have an angle with a side across from it, then you're going to use law of cosines to solve it. Okay, number 6 wants us to find side BC. And so we don't have an angle with a side across from it. We have 40, we don't have this side, and we don't have any other angles, so let's do law of cosines. And here's law of cosines. There's 3 variations of it. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times cosine of angle A. And I'll go ahead and write the other ones. B squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2 times a times c times cosine of angle B. And then we have c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times cosine of angle C. Alright, so since we have angle A and we're trying to find, this would be side A, let's use this one. And what all we'll do is plug in side B, side C, side B, side C, and angle A right here and solve for side A. So let's do that. Alright, so we have a squared equals b squared is across from angle B, 6.5 squared plus c squared is across from angle C, so 2 squared minus 2 times b times c, so 2 times 6.5 times 2 times cosine of angle A. Angle A is 40. Alright, and so we have a squared is all this. So to get A, all I'm going to do is square root all this. So square root both sides, take the square root of a squared, you get A, and I'm going to take the square root of all that. So all that inside the square root will give me an answer choice. And so our answer on number 6, A is the square root of 6.5 squared plus 2 squared minus 2 times 6.5 times 2 times cosine 40. Okay, number 7 gives us triangle ABC, gives us side AC, side CB, and angle B, and it wants us to find the measure of angle A. And so first let's see, can we use the law of sines? Yes, we have this angle and a side across from it, so let's do law of sines. So sine of the angle, 129, over its opposite side of 33 equals sine of another angle over its opposite side. So we'll say sine of angle A over its opposite side of 11. Now let's cross multiply this and get sine A by itself. So cross multiply, we have 11 times sine 129 equals 33 times sine A. And then let's divide both sides by 33. Okay, so the 33's cancel. So now I have sine of angle A equals 11 times sine 129 over 33. Okay, so anytime you're having to find an angle measure, once you get sine A by itself, we're going to do the sine inverse of whatever we get. So we'll say sine inverse of all this. And this should be an answer choice. Sometimes it's called the arc sine of all this, sine inverse or arc sine, but this will be our answer. Okay, number 8 wants